Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy hmsa2012 here, back at it again. And this time, I'm gonna show you guys a couple replays, that I have for a tournament that our Facebook group, the Pokemon Battle and Trade Community, recently hosted a couple weeks ago. I think it was right before Christmas. And so the rules of the tournament was simple. You bring mons that are red, white, or green. Mega Bomb Snow is a must on your team, and the only Z move users you're allowed to have are Delibird, Stantler, Swasbuck, and Cryogonal. So right off the bat of the tournament, I realized that Volcarona is actually kind of powerful, a bit too busted in this tournament, as long as there's no T-Tar or a possible Crawdon in the way. Um, so I decided to pick Volk and Kartana as my base core for OU. It pretty much can stop any potential sweepers. Both hit pretty hard right off the bat, and it just causes a lot of problems, in particular to um, the mons of the colors that are allowed. So let's just get it started right away and see how it goes. So this is my third round opponent because my first and second round opponents did not show up for some reason. So this is my third round tournament. Third round replay. So here goes nothing. So I start off with rotom-wash because rotom-wash leads off particularly well against his team. He goes for the U-turn, probably expecting me to hit a Thunderbolt, but I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp to catch the T-Tar off guard, and it misses, unfortunately. So he goes for the hidden power, doesn't do anything, which makes me believe that it's probably Rock. And I'm just going to go Volt Switch into my Mega Bomb Snow. So he's going to Mega up. I'm going to fire off the Giga Drain, and it does 33% to Kartana. I should have HP Fire, but I was expecting the Rotom to come in. He goes in for the T-Tar switch, predicting me to stay in. I go for the Blizzard and just miss. So right off the bat, he doesn't have Pursue, which is kind of good. It prevents me from not being punished on the switch. But he doesn't have a T-Tar and Fire Punches. Then he Fire Punches me again, so this is a very interesting T-Tar. This is a Choice Scarf, something I have not seen very often. So I go for the Rotom, he goes for Rotom, I go for the Volt Switch, and go into Mega Bomb Snow again. Mega Bomb Snow walls the hell out of Rotom, so what I'm going to do here is to go for the Giga Drain, but he goes for the screens. And seeing that Rotom doesn't have Light Clay, meaning that I don't have to deal with screens for a very long period of time. So he's going to go for the Cryogonal again. I'm going to go for the Giga Drain, get some delicious, nutritious HP back, and I'm going to go to my Sandslash Alolan form. Goes for the Hidden Power, so this is now definitely Rocks, and I'm Hidden Power Rocks. So I'm going to get out my own Rocks on the field, just so I can start punishing his Tornadoes and Mega Bomb Snow very early. So I go back into my Mega Bomb Snow, far off the Will-O-Wisp and misses, and here's a perfect opportunity for me just to, just Giga Drain here, unless he wants to go to Torn, but in which I do. Doesn't do too much, 25%, but with Rocks and Hail up, that Torn is getting chipped very well. Go for the rotom-wash, expecting him to go for the Heat Wave, I predict correctly. And then here, I believe I'm just going to Volt Switch. As he goes for the U-turn, as expected. Goes into the Snowflake here, and I go for the Volt Switch. So now this Cryogonal is getting very chipped easily. And so here, I'm going to go for the Icicle Crush, predicting him a switch, and I knock out the Cryogonal, which is one Pokemon less to worry about. Goes for the Bomb of Snow here. Fine, I'm just going to stay in to chip this thing. This is a problem against my team. Ironhead barely does enough to put it in a one-hit kill. Goes for the hidden power and destroys me even with the Aqua Berry because the Lone Slash isn't really especially defensive. He goes for the Ice Shard, I go for the Volt Switch, and now his team is starting to get split in half. I go for the Volk, expecting him to go into T-Tar here, as I expect, and I'm going to go directly into my Rotom-Wash. Oh, sorry, go for my Kartana. Stone Edge does nothing, and Leaf Blade pretty much destroys his team. But I go for the Smart Strike, I believe. No, I go for the knockoff because I don't want to knock his any of his items off. Goes into T-Tar. I expect him to go for the Fire type move. If he goes for Stone Edge, which is a good play on his part. And then I'm gonna go into my Kartana, and now Sacred Sword pretty much kills his entire team. So down goes the Rotom. I'm at +1 attack. I highly doubt his Kartana is Choice Scarf because he already has a Scarf T-Tar. So that knocks out the Kartana. And last but not least, in comes the Scarf T-Tar, which we already have scouted. And for him to win, he has to go for the Stone Edges and I knock this T-Tar out of the park. And so I win the first match. Nonetheless, on to the second round. Pretty quick, easy. Kartana did its thing. throughout the entire match. I think it killed 4 of the mods. So yeah, pretty good. All right, next is our second round, or our fourth round opponent. So this is quarterfinals, I believe. So now I decided to, mess around with the teams a bit and try to come up with a good team to counter any potential problems. Like T-Tar was a really big problem on my part, as my team has usually been deliberately weak to it. But so I decided to swap out a few things, and I decided to use Incineroar because I noticed a lot of people were using Incineroars, and it was kind of like a safety switch against Volcarona and Tapu Bulu, which I figured out later on that you can actually use them. So nonetheless, here's the team. His team is kind of interesting, a Jellicent. That's why I brought my Incineroar, so I can just knock off. He doesn't really have a knockoff or resistance on his team. And thank God I brought Incineroar because he has probably a Choice Specs or a Choice Scarf Vanillux, which is kind of a problem against my team unless I have Volcarona ready to go. And he has Scizor, which Incineroar can deal with pretty well as long as it doesn't have superpower. So let's get to it. I lead off with my rotom-wash safety. Really good switch against him. So I'm going to go for the Volt switch, and I'm going to get my Swasbuck. Expect him to go for Sticky Webs or Liquidation or Leech Life, which he doesn't really do that. I go for the Toxic. He switches into Scizor or Miss. I'm going to save my Swasbuck. He goes for the U-turn. Here it doesn't burn, unfortunately. He goes to Cryogonal. And the only reason why you ever go to Cryogonal is if you have Hidden Power Rock. And I just go directly into my Incineroar. This Incineroar Assault Vest, or, HM Power 2, which is fine. And expecting him to switch, I go for the knockoff here, and it does a lot to this Arachniid. I'm going to go to my rotom-wash, expecting him to liquidate. Technically fine with me, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get the opportunity to get rid of these webs, because it might be a problem later on in the game. He goes for the Leech Life, does absolutely nothing. And I get to fire off a nice, delicious, nutritious Volt Switch. I'll get rid of the Arachniid. And I go into my Volk, because now he doesn't really have much of a switch, except for the Jellicent and the Cryogonal. So I go back into my Incineroar here, going for the HM Power, fine by me. He goes for it again, and I believe I just go for the U-turn, and it does a lot to the Cryogonal, and I go for the Kartana play. Expecting him to go into Scizor or Jellicent, I decide to switch out and going back into my Rotom. Go for the Volt Switch, does about 35%, which is not too much. He goes for the Toxic here. And now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch out expecting the Scizor, but he goes into Vanillux, which is kind of a weird play since I would have just probably gone into Scizor on that play. And I go for the Mega Bomb Snow. Freeze Dry does a lot, by the way, which I found it a bit ridiculous. So he goes for Freeze Dries again and knocks me out. So this thing must be specs. So then I get the opportunity to give up a Quiver Dance here, as I believe he does go for the Freeze Dry, confirming that he is indeed Scarf or Specs. And so now Flamethrower is pretty much free and destroys this Vanillux out of my face. And here he makes a couple of awkward plays. He goes into Scizor, and I'm just going to fire off a simple Flamethrower here. This 22%, which doesn't do too much. And then I'm going to hit the Bug Buzz on this Scizor, and does about 45. And then next thing I want to do is I'm going to fire off a Flamethrower and knock out the Scizor. Now, I don't really agree with that play, because I think he was expecting me to have Giga Drain. I think that's what he said later on in the match, that he was expecting me to have Giga Drain, but I don't think going to Scizor and then going to Jellicent is a good play, because that means you're deliberately chipping your Pokemon away, especially Jellicent, because when Jellicent goes down, Volk just wins the game right off the bat. And I still have Incineroar too. So now I go from Flamethrower, Cryogonal. I'm still faster, so I don't know why he did that. Another questionable play, and knock it out. Goes into Jellicent. I go for the Bug Buzz here, going for the special defense drops. He goes for Scald. Should have gone for Toxic, but now I'm going to go for a Bug Buzz again, hoping for a crit, but unfortunately don't get that, and he shows that he's recovered. So this pretty much is going to be, come down to that Jellicent being knocked out. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go for the Bug Buzz one more time to 32%, and he goes for the cover. So I believe here I go for Incineroar. No, I go for Swasbuck, because Swasbuck's poisoned already, and he can't do much to me. So I go into my Swasbuck. He goes from the Bomb Snow. I believe I go for the Horn Leech, which is perfectly fine. knowing that he doesn't want to risk Jellicent because the moment he loses Jellicent, it's over. Goes for the Mega, but I reveal that I am the hmsa2012 Swasbuck. So it's the first time that popped the Z move and completely blows out the Abomasnow out of the water. And pretty much with Hail up, nullifies his the Jellicent's ability to recover. And he just keeps going for the recovery here. And it's pretty much game over because this Jellicent can't really do much to my Swasbuck, and I fire off a Toxic, and yeah, definitely is the end of the game here because now this Jellicent is getting chipped away by Hail with a combination of recurring toxic damage, and I'm just getting all my HP back as well. And he's losing his recovery PP, so at any moment, you know, Incineroar, Kartana, and Rotom will be able to knock this Jellyfish out. So that was a clean match right there. Simple 5-0. Swasbuck putting in work at the end of the game. So pretty much, yeah, as he said, they probably said that I had Giga Drain on Volk, or he would have just sent Jellyfish early, but he just destroyed Scizor, and then got Chip off the Jellicent. So good game so far. Dominating game so far. And next but not least is our semifinals game. So I I actually scouted my opponent's matches, and he was using the same team for 2 rounds, and I'm thinking like, you know what, third time should be the charm. So I deliberately brought the same team from the previous round, and I was hoping that he didn't bring anything else because Incineroar just 6-0s in his team. Once Porygon 2 is knocked off, Incineroar just deals with all his Pokemon efficiently. So let's get right to it. So, actually, sorry about that. Why is the music on? So, I actually will go into Incineroar first because it's a very good lead match against his team. I go for the knockoff, crit to 60, man, which is a lot. He goes for Air Slash, which I probably should have just gone for Leech Seed if I was him. So, expecting him to switch out, I go for the Flare Blitz, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then I decide to take the opportunity to knock this Porygon off because I don't want this to become a problem. It reveals that he has Trick Room Porygon, which absolutely does nothing to me, and I'm going to U-turn so I can get rid of that attack drop. And the Swasbuck is here. He goes for the recover, but unfortunately I pop off the Z again. And without the Eviolite, it does so much damage. It was so ridiculous. And here I go for the Toxic. So now this Porygon is getting chipped while in the Trick Room. He goes for Toxic as well. I go for the Horn Leech, getting my HP back, which I was already at full. And I'm able to knock out this Porygon without Trick Room. So I go for the Jump Kick and unfortunately miss. I believe it does matter because it would have 2-hit KO'd the Celesteela. So I go for the Rotom-wash here. He goes for the Flamethrower. That means I get a free opportunity to Volt Switch out my way out of here. And he just sacks the Porygon too. So just the Volt Switch out and knocks out the Porygon. So that means Trick Room isn't a viable option for him anymore. I go into the Incineroar because it's the only thing he has. I go for the Fake Out. Does a good chunk to the Muck. And it's revealed that he's not Black Sludge. So most likely this is a Berry, a Guava Berry Muck, or, you know, I really don't know what this Muck could have been. But a smart Strike from Kartana is able to knock it out. He goes for his IT boy, and I believe he goes for the Mind Blown here. Does 28%, and he loses 50%. But he doesn't want to kill his clown yet. And I get the U-turn onto the switch. He Megas, and you know what? I'm just gonna Bug Buzz because I'm not taking any chances against that Mon. So now it's 5-3, and the momentum is going in my favor. I know what's going to happen right here. He goes for Aurora Veil, well, not H and Power, which is a pretty interesting play on his part. He goes for the Freeze Dry here, and I'm just gonna get the Defog out of here. Expecting him to Freeze Dry me here again, or set up Aurora Veil, I decide to just Volt Switch, and I'm going to go back into my Incineroar. And now I'm going to Fake Out here, get some chip damage off the Snowflake. It's going to go into the Abomasnow. And now he goes into the Cryogonal. Mega Evolve, Freeze Dry does absolutely nothing. And I'm decided to get some Leech Seed up to get some HP back. He goes for the Z move here and does absolutely nothing. I go for the Hidden Power, and through Aurora Veil does absolutely nothing, but in the end, I'm just chipping his team away. Hidden Power puts Celesteela down with the combination of hail. So now it goes into his IT. I'm going to go into my Incineroar just to scout what he does here. He goes for a trick. He gets an Assault Vest. I get a Choice Scarf. And it's pretty much game over because Kartana now is faster and is able to knock out this IT or the Blacephalon, increase my attack, and I can just knock this thing out as well. And that's a GG. So pretty much 4-0, another dominating win, piece of cake. And now we're going on to the finals. So same thing I did, scouting my opponent. Pretty much used the same team throughout the tournament. One of the better looking teams that I've seen in the tournament. It's going to be a challenge. So I decided to get rid of Kartana in order to put in Scizor. And Scizor is able to deal with, a lot of the majority of the mods in the tournament too. As long as I got rid of Volk in this game, it's pretty much Scizor just Swords Dance. I mean, it's Choice Banded, so Scizor can just U-turn Bullet Punch for game. So, in the end, let's get it. So, goes off with the T-Tar. I lead off with the Scizor. Strangely enough, he stays in, and I go for the U-turn. I was thinking about superpowering here, too, but I didn't want to lose to Volk. Goes for the T-Tar play here, and I believe he switches out on the top of Bulu. Completely fine with me. I throw off a Toxic expecting him to switch, so now this Bulu is on a timer. And with Sandstorm, he's going to get chipped very nicely. I go for the Protect, expecting him to kill me. He goes for the Superpower here, and again, he's going to get chipped off even more here. And so what I was thinking here is that I can possibly, go into my Incineroar, but I decided to stay in because, the terrain is still up. And I believe now I go into my Incineroar because I can deal with this Volk. He goes for Bug Buzz, does absolutely nothing. And this is a guaranteed knockoff, I believe. That's what I did on the next turn. Sandstorm is up. I knock off here. Get rid of the Lumberry this T-Tar had. And I'm going to switch out because I do not want my Incineroar to be gone early in the game, or else Volk just completely destroys me. He goes for Stealth Rock. It's fine by me. That means I get a free Fight EMZ off of here in case you want to switch in and get rid of this T-Tar. So we're one Pokemon down. That means we got another 5 more to go. Goes for the Crawdon. Goes for Aqua Jet. I decided to not attack my Swasbug because I didn't really need him anymore. Going to the Rotom-Wash. I believe he doesn't stay in. And I go for the Volt Switch here. Oh, I go for Defog. I have to get rid of Rocks. Now his Rocker is gone. So now I believe I go into my Volcarona because I can wall this thing. Horn Leech does about 20. And now I am going to Quiver Dance here. Oh no, I go for Flamethrower and just completely annihilate this Bulu. Now here's a tricky play that I was thinking about. Like, honestly, I could have Bug Buzzed here and destroyed this Crawdon off the face of the earth, but he decides to knock off on the next play, which I don't really agree with that play, because if you lose Crawdon, this game is pretty much over. And he's going to go for doesn't go for Aqua Jet either, which makes me believe that, he didn't have Aqua Jet at all in this game. Which is kind of weird, because he sacked his Crawdon pretty much early in the game. Go for the Ice Shard, get this at 16. And so now his Roar Veil's up. I'm like, oh, great. He has the Volk, man. So I got to deal with the Volk pretty soon. I go into Incineroar expecting him to go into the Volk, but now he goes for the Sub-Zero Slammer and does absolutely nothing. I eat it like a boss. And I believe I knock off here. Yes, I believe I do knock off. Yep, that's 29%. Get rid of the Volcarona's leftovers. And when I see leftovers on Volcarona, that means most likely it is that it is most likely Roost. And I'm just waiting for this Aurora Veil to leave. He goes for the Bug Buzz. And here's where I could have possibly lost this game. But I get very lucky here. So he goes for the Quiver Dance here. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go for the Flamethrower to see how much it does. I expect him to go for the Roost. And now we're just going to Quiver Dance as well. And I believe he goes for Quiver Dance as well. And I really hate this kind of matchup where it comes down to all these, because a one crit can just annihilate either of us and it could be game very early. I go for the Flamethrower, does 24%. He goes for the Quiver Dance here. Now I'm going to go for the Quiver Dance right here. He goes for quiver dance again, and I'm gonna quiver dance myself as well. So now I'm going to be able to fire off some powerful flamethrowers. That did a lot, and I'm gonna go for another QD right here. And I believe I'm faster, which is strange. So he must have been a modest natured. So I'm just getting my HP back. I'm gonna go hit the flamethrower. That puts it at 19, and now that means that Scizor can actually bullet punch my way to victory because now that Volk is gone. And fortunately for me, I don't get burned. If I was burned, I think it would have been game over because none of my mons are both at very low HP, and I wouldn't be able to do nothing about it. So I was doing damage calcs, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna keep my Scizor because I want it to be good against the rest of the team. And so Rotom gets dies to that. And so here is a calc right here because I wanted Bullet Punch Scizor to win the game because Crawdon is a very low HP. Cryogonal dies from +1 Bullet Punch based on the HP where it was at. And Mega Bombsnow gets one hit KO'd if it takes prior damage. So the safe play for me was to go for Ice Shard, and the minimum roll for Scizor was actually 87, so it's perfect for me to come down to this. So I go for Bullet Punch, knock the Abomasnow out. If it didn't kill, I lost. So in comes the Cryogonal, Bullet Punch, dead. And because since Crawdon is actually very low, the Volk, gone. And that's how I won the tournament of the Christmas theme from the Pokemon Battle and Trade community. So pretty good game overall. I think Scizor being like the last minute pick helped me a lot. So thank you guys for watching. Our group usually kind of is trying to host tournaments more often for you guys to enjoy more, to participate. And I think the prizes for this one was either a plush or a eShop card. So I decided to just choose the eShop card because I think I had enough plushes of Pokemon already. So yeah, if you guys want to, go ahead and join the group. We have a lot of great people there. And with Pokemon Let's Go, you know, thriving right now, and eventually the new generation game coming out, it's going to be a really great group to join. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoy. Like and subscribe for more content. Thank you. Have a good day.